Turn my microphone on for the people at home. Calling to order this evening's February 4th work agenda. Let's do a roll call, please.
Councilmember Chmielewski.
Present.
Councilmember Cerna.
Here.
Councilmember Bria.
Here.
Councilmember Elam.
Here.
Councilmember Fry.
Here.
Vice President Kingsley. Here. And President Sokolowski.
Here.
And Mayor Aronson.
Here.
Thank you.
Wonderful. All right, before we get started, have we received any public comments regarding the last meeting that came in or anything for this evening?
No, we did not.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start with presentations this evening, and our first recognition is the recognition of our Public Services Department, Fire Department, and Police Department during and after Winter Storm Fern. So I'm going to invite our representatives from the Public Services, Police, and Fire to come up and stand in the front for us. And then Councilmember Frey, would you mind doing the reading of the, are you telling me no, you don't mind, or no, you don't want to do the commendation?
Please tell me the dog, tell her something out.
Face out. We see your beautiful faces all the time. I saw the chief out there playing in the snow. I saw everybody in the snow.
Oh, look at Mel, front and center.
Okay, Ralph, you're up.
So this letter of commendation recognizes the outstanding efforts of the Public Services Department, Fire Department, and Police Department before, during, and after Winter Storm Fern. Winter Storm Fern created dangerous and challenging conditions that threatened public safety, essential infrastructure, and the well-being of our community. Throughout this event, these departments responded with professionalism, teamwork, and dedication. Public services personnel worked long hours in hazardous conditions to keep critical infrastructure operating and to restore essential services as quickly as possible. Fire department personnel responded bravely to emergencies, rescues, and medical calls, often placing themselves at risk to help others. Police department personnel played a vital role in protecting the public through traffic control, emergency response, welfare checks, and ongoing support to partner agencies. Together, the coordinated efforts of these departments greatly reduced the impact of the storm and demonstrated a strong commitment to serving the community. Sincere appreciation and recognition are extended to the Public Services Department, Fire Department, and Police Department for their exemplary service and dedication during and following Winter Storm Fern. This commendation reflects the community's gratitude for their preparedness, teamwork, and unwavering commitment to public service. Thank you all.
I'm going to get a group picture with everybody. Watson, over here. That's great.
And then can we get one with Councilman with all of our team? Smush in. Order it.
You're in the right spot.
Yeah.
Balance.
One more. Okay. Great. Thank you.
So happy. Just gonna stand there, watch you guys work. She's super excited. Enjoy your trip. Good for you.
Didn't have a chance to ask a couple years, so.
So not only do I want to thank those that had a chance to come and join us tonight, but I did want to also thank all the members of the borough team who worked for over 72 hours straight before, during, and after the winter storm. And they worked to keep our borough safe and operational. So congratulations to the whole team. You should be proud of the work that you did during that event. All right, next up on our agenda this evening, it looks like we have nothing under land use, public hearings, or ordinances at this time. So we'll move right into the council business section. First item on our agenda is to conduct an interview with an applicant for Friends of Conshohocken Parks. So we will invite Will Lahu, did I butcher it? Lahu? Okay, thank you. To the podium and come on up to the black box there. How are you?
Good.
Thank you for your interest. Can you tell us a little bit about why you want to be on Friends of Conshohocken Parks?
Yeah, I really appreciate the parks in Conshohocken, and I've gotten involved in some of the service projects. I signed up for a bunch of service projects recently, but they all got canceled because of the storm you just heard about. But I really appreciate the greenery in the area and want to do what I can to contribute.
Great.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how that would kind of help you in terms of being part of the Friends of Conshohocken Parks?
Yeah, so my background is professionally, it's a lot of accounting and finance from my career, and I currently work in sales but in an analytical financial kind of role. And I spoke a bunch with Brian, and he said that's something that he could probably use some help with. So happy to help.
They do a fair amount of fundraising. Are you comfortable doing that sort of thing?
I haven't done a whole lot of it, but I'm not opposed to it.
That's good.
You're in sales, so you can ask for money, right? So
Yeah,
that's the name
do
of the
ask
game.
for money a lot.
Have you seen the schedule for the meetings?
I think it's Tuesday.
Does that fit your schedule? Are you okay to make it?
What is it, like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
on Tuesdays? It's a little tight, but I can leave early.
Okay.
I have a long commute.
Anyone have any other questions for Will?
I'll just note for council and our residents that Marissa has been serving as our treasurer for a while now, and she is looking for some help on that end. So as Brian and I have been recruiting folks to be on the committee, I think having someone that can help with some of the financial load and organization, something we felt like we really needed.
Wonderful. Anyone else?
No.
All right, there's no vote this evening, but we appreciate you coming in, and we'll let you know. It'll probably be on the next agenda. Yeah, the 18th.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, Will. Thank you for your interest. All right, next item on our agenda this evening is under manager matters, and first item, I think there's a couple, there's 3 items under manager matters this evening. The first item will be discussion on the RFP for the traffic engineering service for the Fayette Street Road Diet project. So, Steph, would you mind going over the specs of the RFP and for the engineering services?
Yes. So we have a draft RFP in front of Borough Council that was provided to you in your meeting materials. We were awarded an MTF, PennDOT Multimodal Transportation Fund grant in the amount of $1,324,000 at the end of 2025. So the road diet project itself has been discussed and studied dating back to 2016. So it was discussed in 2016. We actually discussed the actual feasibility study in 2021, and then that feasibility study was conducted and completed by your traffic engineer Pannoni in 2022. In 2024, we submitted for the MTF grant. And then it took until the end of 2025 for that award to be, those awards to be posted, and we were the recipient of the grant. So this is the very beginning of this process. I'll just lay that out. So the grant is a 3-year grant. The RFP for the traffic engineering services is kind of the first start. So I did have a call with our reps at PennDOT, who will be our project managers for managing this grant, yesterday. And they did stress, we have to develop an entire agreement. You have to go through these RFPs, and then you have 3 years to complete the project with the grant. So this RFP is a draft. It has to be reviewed and approved by PennDOT as well. So we're in the process of doing that just to make sure it complies with all the MTF grant specifications. And then that agreement will be then attached to this RFP. So this is the beginning process of this whole, it's going to be a lengthy process, but it's an exciting one. The RFP itself is specifically for engineering services. So it is project management and coordination, confirmation of design concepts, the survey, environmental clearances, the highway plan design process, which includes the highway occupancy permit, includes right-of-way plan preparation, erosion and sediment control, utility coordination, and then the entire bidding phase. And then we would move into construction, observation, and administration. There are qualifications and experience that is required per the MTF grant program. So this RFP has specifications in it that are in addition to our usual specifications that are in an RFP. One of the things that does stick out is that the MTF grant, the selection is based off of qualifications first and cost second. And they reiterated that specifically on our call yesterday. So they are, because it's PennDOT, it's a state road, and this is a PennDOT MTF grant, their most important qualification is the qualifications of the firm that's selected. So anyone who's responding to the RFP is going to have to lay out their qualifications, illustrate how they've worked in conjunction with PennDOT in the past, how they've worked successfully with the borough in the past, and then cost becomes a factor, and that cost can actually be negotiated based off of qualifications. So it's slightly different than our other RFPs. There is indemnification and insurance provisions that are required in terms of this submission. There's a selection process. And the dates that this will be advertised and the dates that it will be considered are set right now in this draft as a TBD because we have to work in conjunction with PennDOT and we're waiting for their review and their coordination. But they were very excited to hear that we are jumping on this and we are not just waiting until we get up to that year phrase. So we have assigned the intent to accept the grant. We are expediting the process from our end, and then we are following PennDOT provisions that we are required to go through. So this evening this is for your review and discussion. It'll be back on your agenda for authorization to advertise on the 18th, conditioned upon the final approval with our PennDOT project managers.
Any questions from council, city manager?
I just had a quick question. So they're asking for the qualifications and then the cost. Are we, as the borough, determining the qualifications? Do we need to clear that through PennDOT before we award the bid?
We determine the qualifications. They, as the responder to the RFP, has to indicate that they meet the publications of PennDOT. So in their RFP submission, they'll have to distinguish per the PennDOT standards how they meet those qualifications and what makes them more qualified than another firm.
Great, thank you.
On the funding side, I know we're very early in the project. Do we expect the grant to cover the full project cost, including construction, or do we expect a capital outlay to fund a gap?
There will be a capital outlay to fund the gap. It is a 30% grant match required. So we have 1.3 million in the MTF grant. We're expecting at a minimum another 600,000 that we have budgeted for the match requirements and anything that exceeds that amount. The final numbers, those were estimated numbers. The final numbers will be developed during the design and implementation process.
I have a quick question. Going back the feasibility study, when it was done in 2022, I guess it was,
Yes.
I'd imagine that measured the volume of traffic and reality of doing a changeover like this. Is there any concern of when that was measured? Because that was kind of still when there was a lot of people working from home, that was COVID. There was still a large volume of people working from home. Does that feasibility study still play in 2026, given what the conditions were when they actually did it? Because I don't know what the date was when they did it, but I know they were in front, I think, in 2022, right?
Yeah, the feasibility study was completed in 2022. So what our traffic engineer did was they used base traffic conditions using both historical data that they had on hand prior to COVID, and then data that was actually applicable at that time frame in 2022. So they were pulling, they were accounting for the potential that current COVID-19 conditions at the time could impact peak hours and daily traffic volumes in their studies. So they had done traffic studies previously and pulled that data as well into their study. So it wasn't just a snapshot of what was happening in 2022.
So
they also, I'm sorry, they also
no.
took traffic survey plans that were done with any of the developments and accounted for that in this as well, that weren't online in 2022. So let's just
Okay.
say you had, just trying to think of 51 Washington Street that hadn't completely gone online. They had a traffic study that was required for that specific development. So anything that was in that traffic study was also included in Brian's evaluation of the traffic study utilized for this feasibility.
I was less concerned about the ones in Conshohocken and more about the building surrounding us, because that volume of traffic comes from Plymouth through that
Right.
area. I'm assuming, again, they accounted for that, or they're confident that the volume is still static relative to 2022? Or could we
He's
check-
confident in his feasibility study, especially considering that they had so much historical and available data to pull from previous years. Part of their design is going to be confirming those feasibility studies are still accurate in terms of how they lay this out. So that's in the RFP as terms of a scope, is
Okay.
ensuring there's, they're doing a traffic study that goes along with, it's a state road, so PennDOT's going to require us to show our due diligence on that part.
Okay.
But PennDOT has reviewed the feasibility study results to date, and they are comfortable with it and in support of the project.
And this isn't a traffic mitigation play. This is a public safety play.
Oh, yeah, let me be clear, I'm 100%, I love the idea of getting people to slow down on Fayette. That is the goal, and that should be the primary goal here. The only concerns I've heard directly were related to, is it going to cause people to go down side streets, right, or redirect traffic? That's what I'm speaking to, because at the end of the day, like, again, I have 2 kids, and they can't cross Fayette because it's like a highway. There has to be, the goal is to slow people down. I'm just speaking more on behalf of some people who've raised some concerns. That's all. So as long as that's addressed and looked at, I think that makes,
Well, I would think that in our planning and the play of this whole thing is there would be some police department interaction to ensure that our side streets are safe. Right now, they're doing different actions on different stop signs, right? So I think that would be part of that planning phase to make sure.
And I remember I asked Brian that question specifically in that meeting, and he said you might have some people that might try it for a period of time, but it's not going to make it faster for them to go around. And just as a reminder, this is not going to start until 3rd Avenue, so all of that traffic from 3rd Avenue down, that's all still going to be 2 lanes. So, but I remember asking that question. That was the answer he gave me at that point. So that's something we should definitely follow back up on.
Just to jump off that, Stacy, he said because this has been done in other parts of the county, they saw that for 2 weeks there was increased traffic on side roads, but then it dissipated to the main road after those initial 2 weeks. And then can I just confirm with Chief, we still are not allowed to use radar on Fayette Street?
That's correct, anywhere in Pennsylvania for local police departments.
Thank you.
Any other questions related to the RFP? And then, Steph, the design concepts that we saw prior will all start coming into public view again once we're really into the process.
Yeah, so once you have a designated engineering firm that is designing this project for you, they'll be back in front of you to lay out what that final design looks like. So you'll see it. The project is approved, the grant is approved, the funding is approved. So yes, you're then authorizing, you're basically hiring a consultant to do the formal design of this project, and then that design will be presented to council and the public as part of the overall project.
So I do have one more question to ask. Can you lay out our expected timeline?
I can't definitively lay out a timeline because we are partners with PennDOT.
Okay.
And so I know how we usually move through the RFP process, but PennDOT has numerous projects that they have, and every municipality. So they move somewhat at a slower pace. I can tell you that you're most likely looking at RFPs design in 2026, bidding, construction 2027 timeframe.
So PennDOT is going to be heavily involved.
That's correct.
Right, so that could affect us.
Yes.
Okay.
And then from a traffic mitigation issue, which is what we have traffic issue on the West Conshohocken side. We'll continue to advocate with our state representatives, PennDOT, and others on what is the plan for that space to try and take some of that congestion the way that it's designed today and disperse that differently.
Yes, so the traffic congestion is actually in West Conshohocken, and their traffic engineer, who is also our traffic engineer, has developed multiple different options to help alleviate that congestion. Now, these are not simple fixes, they are major infrastructure. There's 4 different viable options. They are actually being studied by DVRPC, so this is much bigger than both of our municipalities. This is at a state level. However, through the efforts of Borough Council and our state rep, Greg Scott, we are on their radar, and they are actually studying those options, which is more than what has happened in the last 10 years. So that is a great first step. And then those results of those studies are going to get communicated back to each of our municipalities, but also communicated to PennDOT, because everybody kind of has to be on the same page here, and the county. But those conversations are happening.
Great. Any other questions, concerns, comments? Okay. No vote on this evening. It'll be on our agenda for our next meeting.
That's correct.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, the next item under our manager matters is to consider authorizing the issuance of a notice of intent to award a contract for our Second Avenue Veterans Memorial Plaza. That's an exciting project. So Steph, do you want to review the tabulation of the bids?
Yes, so we opened bids, and our engineer, Karen, through Gilmore, opened up bids for this project on January 22nd. We were excited to get 7 bids. We received them from NJS Concrete, G&B Construction Group, Mayfield Site Contractors, S&B Conrad Inc., LJ Paella Construction, DePaul and Company Inc., and Scott Contractors Inc. So 7 submissions. The lowest qualified bidder is NJS Concrete LLC, so they were the lowest responsive bidder. We are recommending that council approve a notice of intent to award the Veterans Memorial Park project to NJS Concrete LLC in the amount of $1,648,736.50. And that, of course, is conditioned upon the issuance of a written contractor responsibility determination in accordance with the borough's responsible contractors ordinance. So all of those requirements will be handled by Karen once and if this is approved. But this is a project that is currently budgeted for in your 2026 capital budget. It is also part of the finance package that PFM is currently working on that will be back in front of you shortly in terms of general obligation notes. And so this is a funded, approved project. We are very excited to have received bids within our approved budget scope. And we do think that this is going to be an amazing amenity that adds to our downtown and our main street.
Any questions that we have for Karen or about the bids?
So the bid covers everything? Because we have that bigger number, it came under our estimation, not by a little bit. That covers everything that we need, and you're confident, based upon what they estimated, that it will cover the entire project?
Yeah, so the bid does include all the items that were on the plans for that, and I feel comfortable with their bid. We did receive a couple bids that were in that same range, so I think they were all thinking pretty much the same thing about the cost for the project, so I find that encouraging.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I just similar a note to that variance because it is significant from the probable cost estimate. Was there any individual factor that was driving it? We're about 25% under that projection.
Sure, that cost also included some utility costs and our cost for construction observations. So I think our estimate might have been closer to 1.8, and this came in just under 1.7. So when you're looking at it, comparing the same things, the numbers come a lot closer.
Okay, thank you. And then second question, probably more for staff, but maybe Karen, on the RCO front, what is our typical timeline to work through? I know it sounds like we're doing it on the back end versus pre-qual.
Do you want to go through the timeline?
Sure, so there's a 10-day review period once we get the documents. The contractor has 7 days to get us documents, we review them. So there could be a little bit longer of a timeline than 7 days if we have comments or any review. But once we have the documents, they go up online for public review. We do a 10-day review as well.
Okay, and do we have to extend review to subcontractors in this case?
That is included as
Okay,
well.
all right, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, this one I will need a vote. I'll need a motion to authorize the issuance of the notice of intent to award the contract for the Veterans Memorial Plaza project to NJS Concrete LLC in the amount of $1,648,736.50, and that's for all items under the base bid, conditioned upon the issuance of a written contractor responsible determination that is in accordance with the borough's RCO.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next item under Manager Matters is to consider approving mutual aid agreement between participating municipalities for the Regional Fire Investigation Team -6. Stephanie, you could tell us what the -6 means.
Yes. It's our Region 6. This is a request of our fire chief. I probably should have explained the -6 in your meeting materials, but sorry. So it's just, this agreement is, we collectively in Montgomery County do a lot of mutual aid. We are the beneficiaries of mutual aid, and we return the favor. So this is just part of that same concept. But this is setting a guideline for that mutual aid assistance specific when it comes to fire and emergency investigations. So it outlines, responsibilities, authority, reporting, liability, staffing responsibilities, et cetera. So instead of it just being, there is a major fire in Abington Township, and all neighboring municipalities are asked to respond. This is simply putting structure to how that process happens and what we do before, during, and after.
Any other questions related to the mutual aid? All right, hearing no other questions, do I have a motion to approve the mutual aid agreement between the participating municipalities in Region 6 for the Regional Fire Investigation Team?
I'll make
the
that
motion.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. You're welcome. All right, taking a look at the agenda, it looks like there are no specific department matters. Mike, no legal matters this evening?
Not for this evening, no, thank you.
Thank you. So we'll move right into our council member and mayor matters. So, Mr. Mayor, what you have for us this week?
Thank you. So we are celebrating Black History Month in February, and I've been posting about some of the events that we have around the area. Just to highlight a few, the Conshohocken Library is playing 12 Years a Slave on the 9th. We are doing our Black History Month proclamation at our next meeting on the 18th, and we're going to be joined by our Conshohocken AME Church. And Black Heritage Day is going to be on the 28th at the Plymouth Community Center. And then the county throughout the month is running just a litany of activities, in person and virtual. So there's a lot going on, and certainly more in our surrounding areas, but we're excited to celebrate with our friends in the African American community. We also have Take Your Child to the Library Day this Saturday, the 7th. And we all know Holly does just an amazing job having activities for the kids. Thomas was just there over the weekend, tearing up the place. So please come on out. I'm sure she'll have tons of activities for everyone to do. We had a birthday, Thomas's 3rd birthday, if you can believe that. And Joya Eisenberg at Eisenberg's made this amazing cake. The demands were chocolate cake with sprinkles and a tray. And she made it happen. So thank you to Julia, who just really just creates works of art with her cakes. Absolutely amazing. And then finally, it is also National Heart Month. So we are teaming up with some local businesses this month to benefit charities that pertain to hearts, including Beats for Bella and the CHOP Cardiac Center. We are going to be doing a fitness class with Conshohocken Pit, and that's on the 15th, and then all proceeds from that are going to go to the CHOP Cardiac Center. And as a reminder, we have a spin team that will be spinning on March 8th for Thomas, and all proceeds from that will go to the CHOP Cardiac Center as well, where Thomas has been a patient since before birth, so deeply entrenched in our family, and we thank everyone for their support. Thank you.
Ralph, anything to say? Stace?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Kathleen?
Nothing, thank you.
Yes.
Adrian?
All right, I'd like to let everyone on council know that, and the public, that the EAC is working on the Conshohocken Rain Garden. So I believe that's the one that's located right here in front of Borough Hall. They're working on this along with the Friends of Conshohocken Parks and the Community Canopy Project. Currently, they're going to apply for 2 grants. These grants will help them purchase native plants and get them installed into the rain garden. I wanted to bring this up because the deadline is before the next meeting, so they're going to be moving through all the motions of it, and then they should be showing up either at the next meeting or a following one to give a presentation on what exactly on the Conchi Rain Garden as well as these grants. Steph, were there any more details? Can you tell us like the amounts of the grants?
Yes, so they're applying for the PA Native Plant Society grant and the Bowman's Hill Wildflower Preserve grant. So they're both open and they need to be submitted in the month of February. They're very excited about this initiative. It comes out to like a total of, the grants are about $1,600. So a significant amount of money, especially for our rain garden, and something they're very passionate about. We at the borough are supportive of this project, and they are excited to come in and talk to you specifically about this rain garden revitalization initiative, especially to see if they can get anybody else in the community that wants to be part of it.
That is all. Thank you.
Alan? I just want to thank all the residents that took the time to reach out to all of the different council members related to the storm. We had a lot of really good feedback related to the storm, both positive and some constructive feedback that we do appreciate to help us get better at things. You know, this was a storm that we haven't had this much snow in a very long time. So it's not necessarily our competency that we do every single day, but the teams were wonderful working with the community and when the community is out talking with them. So I think that we've got great people that continue to do great things and may do things very creatively to be able to get the safety component of our borough addressed as soon as possible. So I just want to say thank you to the residents and continue to reach out to all of us. We like to hear from you. That's how we learn.
And just if I can piggyback off that for just a second. Sure. So Frank Perry, who's our Director of Public Services, had a family obligation, so he wasn't able to be here tonight. He couldn't be formally recognized, but to be under that type of pressure and to come up with so many solutions and have so many answers in a 72-hour period, plus then a week's worth of cleanup following it, I cannot express to you how lucky we are to have him on our team and the level of coordination to make Conshohocken operational and safe through really tough conditions. So thank you, Frank. We told him that he could watch us. Thank you.
All right. Any public comment this evening? Come on up. You can go to the microphone if you'd like. You don't have to stand behind the podium. You can go to the mic.
I like the podium. First of all, to introduce myself, some of you know me, some of you don't, but I'm Dennis Fay. I live on 303 West 4th Avenue. Good evening, council members, mayor, and to my neighbors and chief as well here tonight. I thank you for the opportunity to go on record as a Conshohocken citizen to stress how important it is that council take action on Fayette Street to enhance the safety and quality of life issues for our residents, guests, and patrons of our business community. As a heavy walker of 2 dogs and a daily commuter, I see it every day. A car weaving between lanes at 50 miles an hour. Happened. I confronted the person, actually. It didn't go well, but the story. DoorDash and other delivery drivers parked in the travel lanes, causing dangerous situations. U-turns being made in the middle of Fayette Street between 1st and 2nd. I've seen it all day long, but it really is amazing when it happens during rush hour, which happens. Members of my family and I have nearly been hit by cars due to the mayhem that takes place at this corner during breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which, of course, I'm not trying to take from our business. I'm glad our businesses are doing really well. There are bucket trucks, delivery drivers, borough vehicles, and the like mixing with pedestrians, casually walking up and down the middle of the street, trying to patronize our businesses. The point I want to make tonight is the status quo is not safe, and the time has come to do something about it. While I empathize with those who may fear that we will affect traffic, I disagree with those fears. I think it was already brought up earlier. Most of the traffic comes from Plymouth and White Marsh Townships, where ironically Butler is already 1 lane each way. To the drivers who showed disdain for our town and our laws, our main street has become nothing to them but a high-speed on-ramp to 76 and 476, where they could speed up the second it goes to 2 lanes from 1. The proposed road diet, in my opinion, doesn't even go far enough. It should be just 2 lanes, 1 each way through the entire borough, in my opinion. With that being said, I urge council to move forward with the road diet And in order for it to work, I also urge council must, and I cannot stress how important this is, must simultaneously address the delivery driver and parking issues with a comprehensive central business district parking and traffic management plan. The light timing issues also must be dealt with PennDOT, because no matter what we do for any of this, lights that let 2 cars go at a time during rush hour is going to negate anything we try to accomplish. Let's make Conchi a better place for all residents and guests by making Fayette streets safer and calmer, and I'm also here to help in any way I can to help make that happen. Thank you.
So we're using, if there's a large incident, we're out of the borough.
Good evening, Marlo Doman. I live on East 11th and Harry Street. Something that just was a little unclear to me about the timeline that was presented about the road diet project. Is are we going to be, after we see the designs, is council going to be voting on that again, or is it already done? I mean, there's no more vote to be taken after the designs are presented to the public.
Yeah, the project itself is approved, so there'll be no more approval of the concept. The only thing that they'll have is the final design that is completed by the engineer will be presented to the public so that they are aware of what is happening. Sorry, what it's going to look like.
Okay. And it sounded like there was some portion of money that is going to be allotted from the borough, right?
That's correct, and that is approved and in the 2026 budget in the capital fund.
Okay. That's what I was.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Next.
Donald Morrison, 141 East 4th Avenue. Mr. Selslawski, on 4th and Howell, the traffic light, the pole light has been out for almost a month now, and I just wanted everybody to be aware of that. I don't know if any other neighbors reported it yet, because it's very dark there, and it's very not safe with all the snow right now. And then
It's not the traffic light, it's the overhead light.
Street
light.
I didn't mean to say traffic.
What, at specifically at 4th and Hollowell?
Yeah, 4th and Hollowell staff. Across from the apartment building is the red brick house, right there on that pole.
Thank you.
The resident doesn't have the property shoveled at all. And then second thing is, I'd like to thank the borough snow removal crew for doing an awesome job on Fayette Street and on the side streets, because like you said, Mr. Selslawski, a lot of criticism, and I don't think it's fair that what Frank has done and his team have done reserve the criticizing how people are to them. I really appreciate it. The taxpayers want to volunteer next time. Let's all work together and help each other out instead of criticizing one another. Work as a family and as a team in the Borough of Conshohocken. Because if you listen to last month's speech in opening of our new council members and other council members who've been here, what Mrs. Selslawski said, this is what Conshohocken is all about. Let's all love one another and work together with one another as a family.
Thank you. Thanks, Donald. And I just also want to call out the chief. Thank you for addressing the car situation on 4th Avenue in Hollowell. I do appreciate that, and I'm sure the residents appreciate that. Okay. Anything else, anybody? And no more public comment? Did anything come in while we were talking? All right. So with that, I thank all of you for your input, and I will call this meeting adjourned this evening.